Today on Celebrate Sausage, we're going to be making Weisswurst. Stay tuned. Weisswurst is an emulsified sausage. It's incredibly smooth, it's got a beautiful texture, and it's loaded with flavor. In German, Weisswurst can be broken up into two separate words, Weiss meaning white, and Wurst meaning sausage. So Weisswurst literally translates to white sausage. In today's video, I'm going to show you how we make this absolutely delicious sausage that is almost always eaten before noon in Germany, or at least it used to be. Let me show you how we make Weisswurst.
To make our Weisswurst, let's look at what we're working with. We've got some lean pork, I've got lean beef, I've also got some back fat, and some pig skin. And I love pig skin in this recipe because not only does it give it an interesting texture, but the collagen actually also acts as a binder. But we do have to process it first. So in a small pot of boiling water, take your pig skin and cook that for about 20 to 30 minutes. I like to add about a quarter of an onion, but the recipe will be in the description box below. So once that's finished cooking, we're going to go ahead and take it out of the pot and then grind that on the smallest plate that we have. In my case, it's about a 3mm plate. The reason we cook our pig skin first is to make it easier to grind. Otherwise, it's just incredibly tough. Once that's done, we're going to switch the plate to a 6mm plate, and we're going to grind our very cold, very chilled, partially frozen pork and beef. And we're going to get that through the grinder right here. And that's what this is. As soon as we're done grinding our pork and our beef, we're going to switch our plate to 3mm, where we're going to grind our chilled fat, and we're going to regrind our pork and beef again. When you're done, this is what it should look like. I've got pork and beef ground twice on the left, and I've got my fat on the right. And you're going to see why here in a minute. We're going to begin by adding our pork and beef, as well as the ground pork skin that we ground up earlier. First thing we want to do is add our salt, and this is going to help us extract protein. And notice that it is incredibly cold, under 40 degrees, and we're going to go ahead and turn our food processor on. During this stage, we're going to be extracting a protein called myosin, which is the protein that binds the water and the fat. Through this process, we're going to add a little bit of ice because we want our temperature to stay in the mid-40s. In the mid-40s, we get maximum protein extraction. So as the food processor chops up the meat, it's going to start to look like a meat paste, and this is exactly what it's going to look like. We're now going to go ahead and add the fat. The reason we add the fat last is because fat doesn't absorb water, and if you chop the fat up too finely, it could possibly smear. So once you've got the fat in there, you're going to go ahead and add your binder, your seasonings. We've got our lemon zest, and we're going to turn our food processor back on to begin chopping. And during this stage, we want to keep the temperature somewhere in the mid-50s. As your food processor is running, you're going to add your crushed ice a little bit at a time. We want to try to keep the temperature relatively consistent. As the blades are continually chopping the meat, it does tend to want to bring that temperature up pretty quick. So it is important that the blades on your food processor are incredibly sharp. Otherwise, it's just going to whip the meat and it's going to put too much air into it. Notice our temperature's in the mid-50s. That's perfect at this point. We don't want to mix it too much longer, but we're going to go ahead and mix in our chopped up parsley. And I'm just going to run that for just a few seconds until that parsley is well mixed. And at that point, my Weisswurst batter is completely finished. And it looks and smells great. It's very smooth. It looks like one homogeneous mixture, and that's exactly what I'm looking for. I'm going to be stuffing these into some natural hog casings. I don't want to stuff them too tight, so I'm just going to let that meat mixture just pull the casing off the horn, and this is what our Weisswurst is going to look like now that we're finished. At this point, all we need to do is make some links and go ahead and poach them. So I'm going to break out the air pockets before we poach them because they do have a tendency to expand a little bit. And let's go ahead and pop them in some water. We're going to place these into a 176-degree water bath. When you're poaching a sausage, you're going to poach your sausage at 176 degrees Fahrenheit for 1 minute for every millimeter that your sausage is wide. These are 32, 34mm casings, so we're going to poach these for 32 to 34 minutes. And then I'm going to place them into some ice cold water. At this point, your Weisswurst are cooked. You can refrigerate them and you can enjoy them later, or you can eat them. And let me show you how I like to prepare them. In a small pot, I'm going to heat up some beef stock on a medium low. I'm going to place my Weisswurst into that beef stock, and I'm going to heat these up until they are completely warmed through. Reheating your Weisswurst in beef stock or chicken stock really elevates the flavor of your delicious white sausage. Once they're done, look at that, they're nice, piping hot. I'm going to go ahead and place them into a serving bowl, and let me tell you, they smell absolutely amazing. I'm going to pour my beef stock directly on top of my sausage, fill up that serving bowl, and that's going to keep my sausage warm while I'm enjoying them. To enjoy this delicious sausage, just take it out of the stock and put it on your plate. Normally, the sausage casing is removed, and there are lots of ways to do that. How I'm going to remove it is just put a little slice right on the top of the sausage and then peel it off. The sausage can be a little hot, so if you happen to be doing it this way, you want to be careful. Once I've got the casing removed, it's now time to enjoy this. I'm just going to cut some slices into this Weisswurst and enjoy it exactly as it is. This is our slice. Look at the texture. It's soft, it's elegant, it's luxurious, it's slightly citrusy, and wow.
Talk about delicious. This sausage is a little challenging to make as it falls into the emulsified category. And you got to have special equipment. You got to keep everything very, very cold. It takes a little bit of practice to really nail the texture of an emulsified sausage. But if you can nail the texture, Weisswurst is an incredible sausage to make. You can find the recipe in the description box below. And if you have any questions, be sure to leave them in the comment section. Thanks a lot for watching, and be sure to stick around because tomorrow we got a brand new sausage and a brand new recipe. Same time, same place on Celebrate Sausage. See you tomorrow.